afternoon. Let me start off with my presentation. People frequently ask me where I am connected. I usually tell them Commission in ICT. And I get blank stares. Okay, that's the usual reaction that I get. So I continue on saying, Commission in Information Communications Technology. I still get blank stares. Computers, you know, mobile phones, DVD, MP3, that sort of thing. And then I get some nods, and then I follow it up with, I'm with the Office of the President. I get reactions. I get smiles, I get smirks, and some, Okay. But there was this one friend who said, "Sokorap ka na." I was actually expecting this type of retort from friends all over, but then this was the very first time that I heard it verbalized. I didn't know how to react to it. So I just laughed and said, no. Okay. But it got me thinking, why is it that I'm still with government? I joined government in 2005, and I'm still here, despite all the nasty criticisms that we get, despite all the negative image, despite the measly pay. I've gotten so many advices to get out of government, to move back to the academe, or probably go to an NGO, international NGO, or probably to the corporate world. But I stuck it out. I'm still here. Why? Because there's this one thing that I've dedicated my life to for the past 4 years, and that is Eskwela. When all of the sponsors and all of the agencies were looking at the formal education system, providing ICTs or computers for public schools, private schools, we at CICT, together with the Department of Education Bureau of Alternative Learning System, decided on providing ICT-enhanced opportunities to the other sector, to the out-of-school youths and adults. So Eskwela essentially is ICT for the accreditation and equivalency program of the Bureau of Alternative Learning System. You might not know what the A&E program is, so let me give you some background about it. Let me start off with this. I'm not sure if you've seen this graph before. Have you? No one? Okay. So this just shows that for every 100 grade 1 students that enter the system, only 66 graduate from grade 6, and only 43 eventually graduate from high school 4th year. How many drop out of the system? 57. So there are more dropouts from the basic education system than there are graduates from the basic education system. In 2009, this number was is about 11 million. We call them functionally illiterates. That's the other term that's being used for out-of-school youths and adults. And add to that 4 million illiterates, the no-read, no-write people. 15 million people out of 92 million population in the Philippines. How big is that? That's 16% of the population. 16%. But the Bureau of Alternative Learning System only gets a measly budget. It only gets less than 1% of the entire education budget to respond to 15 million clients. Okay. The Accreditation and Equivalency Program was designed to give these 57 out of every 100 students the chance to get basic education again, okay, or to get a chance at a high school diploma, an elementary diploma and high school diploma, which for most Filipinos serves as a lifeline. Okay. The A&E program has something like Mr. Graham discussed a while ago, the modular learning approach. It makes use of modules that focus on life skills. So there are modules on active listening, on business math, on even knowing how to compute for the electric bill at home. Okay? Even a module on filling up forms accurately. Okay? So the A&E program aims to capacitate these out-of-school youth and adults with skills that they can use for real life. Okay? But the problem is, with a very, very small budget, they can only do so much. They make use of print modules. So imagine discussing first aid, but you have a print module in front of you. That's so difficult. Okay? It's so difficult to learn if you don't have a video, probably, or probably a person showing you how it is done. Okay? But as I mentioned, BALS only has a small budget to go by. So they have a few teachers. They have print modules that get worn out because they get passed on to different learners. Okay? So what we thought of was to make use of ICTs to enable these teachers and learners to make use of ICTs to enhance the learning experience. So we came up with what we call the eSkwela instructional model. We focused on what the A&E program is already doing, so life skills. We ensure that there's a blended learning approach because for Filipinos, we're not yet ready for a 100% e-learning type of thing. Okay, so we make sure that there are learning facilitators and there's self-paced learning and localized materials. So what happens is that the learner enters the program, the A&E program, through eSkwela. He and the learning facilitator come up with what they call the individual learning agreement based on the competencies that he needs to get and based on the modules that are appropriate to those competencies. The learner is then exposed to a learning management system. Okay. Through the learning management system, he gets links to the e-learning module. He gets to access the learning facilitator also. And he also gets access to the other learners, other resources, forums, and we even encourage them to come up with ICT-based projects, like posters or blogs or wikis, and so on and so forth. By then, after the program, they would be confident enough to move on to the next step, which is probably take the A&E test. The A&E test is the one that Manny Pacquiao took, if you don't know. He was able to pass the test and he's now taking business management, I think, in Notre Dame in Mindanao. So our learners could take the A&E test the same way that Manny did, or he could go on to test the courses or get employment. Okay. We're working with the communities for the career pathing of these learners, the learner pathing of these learners. Okay. Just to give you an idea what they encounter, through the learning management system, we expose them to what we call a module guide. The module guide is designed by the learning facilitator based on the print module that they have and the e-learning module and the context that they're in. So for this one, the module guide gives them the link to the e-learning module, links to the websites that are appropriate and relevant, links to the forums, to the wikis, and instructions in order for him to be guided in terms of creating projects. Projects could be blogs, could be wikis, could be videos, could be songs, could be letters, so on and so forth. Okay. What we've done so far is that we have already 92 certified modules, certified by the Bureau of Alternative Learning System. Okay. But we're targeting 280 by June 2010. Okay. We're developing all of these 280 modules already, and by June 2010, we have all of them available. We're also developing test the e-learning courses on refrigeration, automotive servicing, horticulture, and bartending. Because most of the learners look for livelihood skills also. They'd like to get courses on livelihood also. We've also trained the learning facilitators to become more innovative, to become more facilitative. We've exposed them to the different tools that are available online, available offline. And we've also come up with 21 sites already from initial 4 pilot sites. Some of our sites are on top of public markets, very accessible to our learners. The second picture, as you can see, is inside a container van. That's in La Union, San Fernando. San Fernando, La Union. Okay. The third one is a site in a community e-center in Tanawan. And the fourth picture is actually a mobile lab that's being transported using a motorbike. And that's in Camarines Sur. All of these sites are community-led initiatives. We only invested on the first 4 pilot sites. All the other sites made use of existing laboratories in the communities, like internet cafes or the community e-centers. And we've done all these with the help of our stakeholders. As Mark mentioned a while ago, we have to involve our stakeholders, and that's what we did. We were able to get ownership, and we've proven that synergy really works. So eSkwela is actually a beacon of hope, not only to the implementers, not only to the learners, but even to for me, okay, that something can come out really well if done well in government, right? It's one way of saying that I stuck it out in government and I've done something good. So, a beacon of hope for ICT and education in the Philippines. A beacon of hope especially for our learners. Let me go through some of our learners. This one is, this picture is of Flor. She got pregnant really early in her life. I think she was 16 when she got pregnant. She had to drop out. And when the time came that her eldest son was about to graduate, she told herself that she owes it to herself to finish her basic education. And that's what she did. She went to eSkwela to do that. This is a common sight in our eSkwela centers. They bring their children to the centers because they can't bring them to the traditional public schools, right? So they bring them to eSkwela and then they learn at the same time. This one is a lass from Surigao. She had to drop out because she had to transfer to Cebu to become a house help. Okay, but she's now with eSkwela. Phil Ray is a learner that we have in Cagayan de Oro. He has muscular dystrophy. He dreams of being a computer engineer, and he's now taking up IT in Mindanao. Okay? He was one of our first eSkwela learners in CDO. We have 3 children in Baguio. We have a learner in San Jose del Monte. How old does she look like from the picture? She's old, okay? But she's still taking the eSkwela modules. She's around 65, okay? She doesn't really need a high school diploma anymore. But then she's a community leader right now, and she wants to finish her basic education to show that the younger people in her community that if I can do it, so can you. Okay, so that's what she's doing with eSkwela. We also have learners in Zamboanga City. Okay, as you can see, we have we have learners from different backgrounds, okay, in eSkwela. And we're trying to promote the use of ICTs so that they can become more confident in terms of what they can do in life. They've produced projects like this one. They've come up with websites, they've come up with videos, they've come up with posters. They are more confident to make use of their cell phones to interview people, okay, and talk to people. Okay, and that's something that we can't really get from reports. Okay, we got all these information when we had our monitoring and evaluation sessions. Okay. So far, since 2007, the very first year that the 4 pilot sites operated, we've had 2,500 learners. By 2010, we're hoping to have around 200 sites all over the country. And with the help of the communities, hopefully we can do that. Okay. eSkwela is a beacon of hope. Let me just read through what Fe Corpus said. She's one of the learners in San Jose del Monte, and she's 40 years old. There are still regrets over all the wasted time, but overall, there's only hope and fondness for what eSkwela helped me achieve. All of us have gone through a lot in life, but no matter what our ages are, we do not discriminate against one another. We are all learners, same as everybody else, and we do not let small things affect us anymore because we all have a goal in sight. We all want to make our lives better because it is slam doors no longer with a high school diploma in hand. So eSkwela, despite catastrophes, despite problems, despite Ondoy. Okay? This was the site in Kalumpang, Marikina, that got devastated by Ondoy, but they're now looking for ways to put up the center once again for Eskwela. Because in Eskwela, there's only hope. So now do you understand why I'm still in government? Thank you.